The Tyreek Smith situation at the University of Memphis continues to unfold very publicly all over social media. Big Bet Bennett, how closely have you been following it?
Probably not as closely as I should, but I did see that he was at practice this morning.
I am told he was at practice this morning, and there are indications to suggest that this situation is getting resolved. It's just unfortunate that it became so public,
I know.
this misunderstanding / disagreement, because I've heard some other people say that there are messy NIL situations, in football and other places, and basketball at other places. And, the idea that you might have a disagreement or misunderstanding between a player and his rep and a university or a collective or a coach or an assistant coach, that isn't unique to Memphis. And I agree.
Yep.
You hear about these things behind the scenes. They mostly stay behind the scenes, though. They mostly get handled in the dark. This obviously became a very public thing over the weekend and escalated to a place where, at CBS Sports, we have a Slack channel for college basketball, and links are put in there, like anything that's interesting that might need to get aggregated or might prompt a conversation or a column, and this stuff shows up in there. So you got national college basketball writer. There's not a national college basketball writer or analyst in the country who isn't aware that something messy is going on at the University of Memphis. And given that there's always something messy seemingly going on at the University of Memphis, it just emphasizes the perception that things should be going a little more smoothly than they tend to go on that campus. Either way, here's what I can tell you. I do not believe this is Penny Hardaway's fault. I'm not even certain it's the University of Memphis's fault in any real way. Because what I am told is some of the allegations that have been made by Tyreek Smith's mentor / representative are simply untrue or misleading.
Okay.
I was told Tyreek Smith has not only received money, he's received a lot of money. You ready for this? Approximately already $175,000.
Then what's going on?
I think that's what the University of Memphis side is asking as well. Well, how did this turn into
a thing?
To this? What I am told is that there is a contract between the University of Memphis collective, the collective associated with the University of Memphis, and Tyreek Smith. Like, this isn't just some verbal agreement. There is a contract. And what I am told is that if Tyreek Smith decided to take that contract to an attorney today and say, find where they're in violation of it, he would not be able to find that. Every dollar that has been promised to date has been delivered, I'm told, and everything that is supposed to be delivered in the future is on schedule. What I'm told is this collective and anybody else connected to it, they're not behind on payments. And it's untrue that they haven't paid anything. Again, I am told that Tyreek Smith, who averaged 8 points and 5 rebounds a game at SMU last season, has already cashed $175,000 worth of checks. Now, is more expected to come? Yes, from collective partners, I'm told. But the idea that anybody has missed a payment, or they're behind on payments, or that they have not done what the contract states they should do, I'm told is simply untrue. Now, as for how this turns into this, it is possible that former assistant coaches on staff no longer promised things throughout the recruiting process that maybe haven't been fulfilled, like starting positions, guaranteed minutes. It's possible that Tyreek Smith, based on the information he was given by an assistant coach, didn't also think he was getting quite literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to come to the University of Memphis, that he would be coming to the University of Memphis to start. It seems pretty clear now that he's not going to be a starter on this team. His role was looking like, based on things that have happened this preseason, It'll be something lesser than what he envisioned, and perhaps even what he was told. But my understanding is those conversations, if they happen, would have happened between a former assistant coach and Tyreek Smith, not Penny Hardaway and Tyreek Smith. Bottom line, I think it's well established at this point. When I think the University of Memphis is wrong, I'm comfortable telling you that I think the University of Memphis is wrong. When I think Penny Hardaway is wrong, I think it's well established. I'm comfortable telling you I think Penny Hardaway is wrong. If I thought Penny Hardaway was wrong here, I would say it. I don't think he is. I think if you want to criticize him, it's for once again letting something blow up as opposed to handling behind the scenes. But to criticize him for that is to suggest that he should have anticipated this thing was about to blow up. I'm told that any issues with the collective weren't brought straight to the collective before they were made public. In other words, everybody would have preferred and been better off handling this quietly behind the scenes.
Yep.
And that's where, if I were Penny Hardaway, I might really be done with this. Like, I might really stand up and say everything I just said and then say, and now you can take your $175,000, keep it. You got over on us, but you're not here anymore. If you are the type of person and player who's going to allow your mentor and representative to publicly embarrass us the way that he has, this is not the way we're operating. You're not here anymore. Now, keep in mind, I don't have, my job's not on the line. I'm not trying to win basketball games
I got you.
In 2 weeks. It's an easier thing for me to say than it probably is for him to do. But if you are wondering why Tony Bennett announced his retirement last week, it is because of stuff like this.
Stuff like this.
It's like, I don't want to deal with this.
Like, this was never a thing, 4 years ago?
No, this is the job now.
Yeah.
The main difference between Memphis and most high major schools as it pertains to this stuff right now is Memphis is putting out its fires publicly, and most fires at most other places are handled privately. They're never taken to social media. They're never taken to podcast and radio shows. They never end up on TV. They never end up creating national headlines at legitimate publications. It's just all stuff you might hear about if you got your ear to the ground, but it's not going to be on a message board anywhere. This stuff got very public in a way that I know Tyreek Smith's side of things. They thought this is what they needed to do. But I'm just saying, I'd like to think, I can't say for sure, I've never run a basketball program. I'd like to think if I were running a basketball program and one of my players, mentors, / representatives tried to embarrass me and my program so publicly, we would be done with them.
Because the thing is, too, is like, if he's not good, like this will come back. Like, the fan base will obviously bring all this stuff up.
Well, it's just also like what kind of, and I should be clear, I've never met this young man. I don't know him at all, but I know that this is his 4th different Division I university. I know that he's never been a meaningful part of anything successful at the collegiate level. I don't say that to be harsh. I'm just telling you the truth.
No, he wasn't on good teams.
He's never been he's been on a good team.
Yeah, but he wasn't a big contributor.
He's never been a meaningful player on what I would consider a successful / NCAA tournament team. And oh, by the way, if you want to know where the market is, remember when you'd have some people in the industry say things like, you guys can keep talking about NIL, but really, only a handful of people will ever benefit.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocked. Yeah.
This dude has already cashed approximately $175,000 worth of checks. I'm told he averaged 8 points and 5 rebounds for a SMU team that finished outside of the top 70 at KenPom. He was a whatever player for a whatever team, and the market suggests he was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's pretty wild. Like, when you start seeing these numbers, because I thought that. I bought into that, what you just said, as I was like, yeah, it's only going to be like a handful of guys that are getting big money and stuff.
I always thought it would be everybody. I always thought it would be this.
Yeah.
Because you had boosters quietly throwing money around for decades.
Sure.
And now they were going to be allowed to do it and encouraged to do it. This was going to be their way to feel like they were actually a part of something. And so here we are. But just know, if you average 8 points and 5 rebounds for a whatever team in the American Athletic Conference, what the market has showed us is that you are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to a major college basketball program.
Hey, good for them.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm not hating. I'm just saying that's where we're at.
It's surprising.
I'm
when
just
you
saying
hear
that's where we're at. So, listen, if I had to bet at this point, I would bet that Tyreek Smith is going to continue to be a member of the Memphis basketball program, and he'll get every dollar that was promised to him in that contract. But if he is out there wanting more than that, well, that's where these things get messy, and he could end up being in violation of the contract as opposed to Memphis or the collective being in violation of any contract. Either way, it's just another public thing that this basketball program does not need. We should be getting to know the names of the players and the potential of the team as opposed to talking about anonymous letters and academic fraud and 4 assistant coaches fired and this kind of stuff. But it's always this kind of stuff, it feels like. I hope one day we'll get away from it.
Yep.
But as far as it goes here, I'm not certain that this is actually one where it's fair to take a club and bang the University of Memphis over the head or bang the collective over the head or bang Penny Hardaway over the head. I'll tell you any of them are wrong when I actually believe they're wrong. But my understanding here is that they are just as blindsided and confused by how all of this went public and got twisted up. They were just as blindsided and confused by it as most of the rest of us.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.